Hello, this is John.
Janice.
And we are 2 in 1 is Us. And we are here to talk about a topic of leaving. Actually is a 3-part topic that we're going to be discussing: leaving, cleaving, and becoming one flesh, which comes out of Genesis chapter 2.
Where it says, "For this cause husbands shall leave their father and mother and shall cleave to their wives and become one flesh."
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing. And I think it's something that we wanted to talk about because I think a lot of people have issues in how do we leave, how do we separate from our father and mother, how do we detach ourselves from their idea of what marriage is or their influences of what marriage is. And so I believe a lot of couples may struggle with this. I know at one point or other we struggled and early in our marriage on just how to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does leaving mean?
Or why would the Bible even say that? Why is that even in the Bible when Adam and Eve didn't even have a mother and father, an earthly mother and father? Adam and Eve were the first people that God created, and then here God is giving a command to them saying, "For this reason you shall leave your mother and father and cleave to your wife and become one flesh," when they didn't even have parents. So that's really important, and I think the Bible mentions it because it's an order of marriage. It's
something that He instituted, created, and designed in order for it to function in a healthier way. So
leaving doesn't necessarily mean, oh, we're gonna stop all the communication with our parents.
Right. Like we are forsaking them.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk to them anymore. That's not what it means.
Change our numbers.
But it basically means that I make my priority my husband.
Yeah, and I make my priority my wife.
So the goal should be to please his needs, his desires, his wants, and not what my mom or my family or my father wants.
Right. We kind of establish an adult relationship with them, meaning that they can. There's some boundaries where they see, they're a husband and wife, and so they get to make their own decisions now, their own goals, their own traditions, and so sometimes it weigh heavy because they still have tradition, they still have things, and they want us to be included in those things, and so and I feel like a lot of couples, they bump heads and create kind of unnecessary issues because of maybe parents or pressures of outside.
So how did we create that boundary in our relationship with our parents?
I think it's just discussing, communicating with each other. Like what do we want? What do we want for our family? We feel families are important to us, and so we wanted to divide our time wisely.
Yeah. So I think basically also creating our own schedules and having things already written down and scheduling our time.
It's important. So not only like just scheduling plans with them and what are their plans, what are our plans, but also understanding like that there is even a personal where we sometimes depend on their counsel, depend on their advices, depend on their opinions, and so I think we have to set that apart and know, okay, this is my wife, and so I want to meet her needs and I want to know her desires. I want to know each other's opinions and create those things.
And I think we've had to do a lot with that. We're the first ones to homeschool in our families. We're the first ones to, what else was it that we were talking about the other day? That
you don't work?
I don't work. Yeah, I let go of my job. I studied. I had a career. And I let go of all that just to stay at home and raise our children.
Right, it's not an easy thing, and we're not saying, well, everybody needs to do that. We just feel that that's what we were called, and we agree on that, and we made the adjustments to make that happen. But even in that, we still get the pressure from outside and the whys and the questions, and so we have to be firm in our marriage and understanding
and back each other up.
Right, this is what God called us. We must leave. This is what He created. This is what He initiated, established, and so therefore we want to be obedient in doing so.
Yeah. So I think basically it comes down to being obedient to what God wants for our lives together and following the call of God.
Yeah,
and that's how we've basically drawn the boundary to leaving, the part of leaving where the Bible mentions leaving.
Yeah, so I think to kind of conclude is kind of make your husband and wife your priority human relationship.
That's right.
Love you.
Love you. All right. Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We'll have another video ready.
All right. God bless.